I've always been a fit person involved with sport and everything, and so I got a Ranke Outstanding Contribution to Ranke Award. And living like this is torture. Oh.
So, Aina, can you tell me what your life was like before you became ill? What sort of things did you do? What sort of things have you done in the past?
I was a surf lifesaver. I was a land carer. I was a political candidate for the Greens at federal, state and local government level, and proud to have been so. I was a teacher at TAFE.
So you've had a very active life, and you've been involved in lots of things.
Yes.
Would that be true to say?
Yeah, very active.
And you were saying just a moment ago that your speech was very different, and you said to me, I wish you could hear how I used to be able to talk, and so you're finding the talking a real frustration.
Yes, and also because I pardon me, get so tired with speaking. I'm an intelligent person. I've got opinions about a lot of things, and I like to discuss and be involved, and now I can't go outside of my four walls, and I'm growing less and less able to use my fingers on the computer. And I said to one of my good friends recently, what do you want me to be, a vegetable with the brain? I'm sorry, I'm not going to do that. So,
when did you first notice that physically there was something wrong with you?
The first sign I had was when I was living in Coffs Harbour, and I worked for an Aboriginal health clinic, and I had difficulty saying the word clinic, and I thought at the time, oh, maybe it's just because I'm working so hard and I'm tired. And then I got whatever this it is, grew progressively worse, and I saw a neurologist, my GP.
So does the medication help to control your symptoms?
No.
Not really?
No.
Yeah. You can't see much difference?
No.
Okay.
I'm becoming weaker in my hands, weaker in my mouth. I can't chew properly, I can't talk properly, eating tires me, talking tires me. He said, this baclofen, the neurologist said that only it would only ease the muscle tension in my legs and arms, but it's not doing very much. I'm taking it because I fear if I don't, I'll be totally immobile. But and
it doesn't feel like it's making much difference.
No.
How long is it since you first started noticing the symptoms?
About 3 3/4 years.
So
Yeah.
coming on to 4 years. And
Yeah.
over that 4 years, are you noticing that the symptoms are getting worse?
Oh, totally. Totally, Sarah. Totally.
And what have you been told about this condition? What have doctors told you? Do they say that it's going to stabilise?
No, it's degenerative. I've been to Hunter Genetics to a geneticist there, and she's postulating that it might be hereditary spastic paraparesis or primary lateral sclerosis, but my blood is still at Concord Hospital being the DNA's being tested, and the first test they've done is proved negative for HSV, so now I have to wait until end of October, early November for the subsequent test, and
But the information you've been given is that it is degenerative
Yeah.
and it is getting worse, and that's what
Yeah.
you're experiencing.
I know it's getting worse. Yeah.
And some people have suggested that maybe in your situation you need to be planning something like either a nursing home or some sort of care, and that you could actually get some care outside. How do you feel about the idea of going into care?
Not full-time care, no way.
And
No
why
way.
is that? Why wouldn't you agree to that?
It will do nothing for me. It won't ease my pain. It won't allow me to talk any better. It won't allow me to interact any better. So what's the point? Well, there's no point. I've got home care. A lady comes in once a fortnight to clean. I used to be able to get my own breakfast. I can't do that anymore, so
Do you get much help? Do you get people from in the area coming in and helping you at all? Or
yeah. Yeah, I get home care every morning for breakfast. My mates come every afternoon to bring my bird in and get my dinner, and I'm getting Meals on Wheels now. Thankfully, their menu has broadened significantly now, and I can get the vegetarian meals I like, so I'm thankful for that.
So it sounds like at the moment you're actually managing, but and you've got people coming in and helping you and assisting you,
Yeah.
and yet you actually have decided that you're going to end your life tomorrow. Some people would ask why, given that you do have support, and given that you are managing, why have you made the decision to end your life?
Because I know that this is degenerative. I can't talk properly. I'm getting more and more pain in my hands, my fingers, my arms. And if it's is degenerative, where am I going to end up? Where? And I want my own life to be in my own hands. I've been an independent person all my life, making my own decisions, for better or worse. I want this final decision to be in my hands. And
did you think about leaving it for another 6 months or giving yourself a bit more time? Was there part of you that thought it might be better to just wait a little bit?
no.
And why is that?
Because I'm in so much excruciating pain. When I walk, when I talk, when I sit, whatever I do, I'm in 24/7 excruciating pain.
And some people might say the reason you want to end your life is because you're depressed. Has anyone spoken to you about depression? Has anyone?
Oh yes, oh yes. I've had lots of conversations about depression. I was in Maitland Hospital for about 6 days at the end of July, and I openly discussed euthanasia. I spoke with every doctor and nurse about it over there. I'm not embarrassed. I'm open, and I have no intention of being clandestine about it. And the most attention I received over there was from the mental health people.
So as soon as you said euthanasia, they sent the mental health team. And did they do an assessment of you?
Oh yes.
And what did they say?
Oh, the psychiatric consultant has written on my discharge from hospital, I'm mentally sound.
Okay, so they didn't identify any depression or psychiatric illness?
No, I've spoken with the head of New South Wales Mental Health in Hunter, New England Health area, Dr. Marcia. I can't think of her last name at the moment, but she's been here. She sat where you are, and she said, you're not clinically depressed, you're realistically so. My best friend has talked about pardon me, tried to talk me into using antidepressants. I reject that because my situation, I'm totally realistic about it. I know that anyone who would have a quality of life like this in the space of what, just under 4 years, seeing all their friends being able-bodied and doing everything and going here and there, I'm stuck in these 4 walls. who wouldn't be somewhat depressed and somewhat sad. I've done a joys and sadnesses document up, and like a pros and cons document when one approaches any project or whatever, and my sadnesses outnumber my joys by almost 3 to 1 now.
So I'm not quite sure, you're saying that your sadness outweighs your joys by 3 to 1.
Yeah.
And that's because of all the losses of
Yeah.
all the things that you're no longer able to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally.
And with the medical profession, what are they saying to you? Are they saying you could, are they giving you some sense of hope in terms of this illness, or are they saying really there's nothing we can do?
I saw a pain specialist at Maitland, and I had to prepare a War and Peace document for referral to the Hunter Pain Management Clinic. That was at the end of July. Here we are now in the middle of September. I've heard nothing from them.
And pain is a problem in your case.
Oh, totally. Totally. But it won't help my voice. It won't help my disability as far as walking or dexterity with my fingers. I can't cook anymore because I can't stand, I can't cut. I'm flat out putting jam on my toast and peeling a murcot mandarin because the skin is so thin, and who wants to live like this?
So even basic things that were very simple have now become...
I have to clean my teeth in a bucket sitting on the chair because I can't stand in the bathroom.
What about showering?
Oh, that frightens me. I'm in so much pain, and the simple act of even someone helping me shower is so excruciatingly tiring. What's the point? And I don't want to live in a situation where I can't do anything, and I've got an active brain, so to me, ending my own life at my own hand is the most comfortable way to go for me. I don't think about the economics of the economic side of the argument. My friends have tried to talk me out of it, saying I still have a lot to offer. Oh.
You don't feel that's the case anymore? Yeah.
No. When I can't walk, I can't talk, what can I offer?
Do you think it's particularly hard for you because you were such an active, engaged person, that you had so many interests, that you worked in all sorts of different situations, and it's even more frustrating for you now to not be able to do any of those things?
I think that's a part of it, definitely. If I'd been born with a disability, I learned to live with it. I guess I'd have to, but to be cut down with something so painful and debilitating as this,
And you've obviously put a lot of thought into how you're going to do it and when you're going to do it and the circumstances.
yeah.
And you've made that decision that's going to be tomorrow. As you're getting closer to the time, how are you feeling about that?
More and more comfortable, more and more urgent. I even thought about it ending this afternoon because I'm in so much pain.
And painkillers don't help you? Do you have painkillers?
No.
Have you been prescribed painkillers?
Yeah, I've been on Panadine Fort. Oh, that's useless. It just
doesn't make any difference?
No.
And it makes you tired?
Yeah,
So you're saying because you feel so bad, you feel like you prefer it almost to be sooner rather than later?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you have any sort of anxiety or fear about?
No, no, it's a part of life. I've always been a person who has said quality over quantity for me. I believe my quality of existence has been almost totally destroyed. And I'm more than comfortable with the ending, and I think our society is frightened of death, and I'm not. I think it's a part of life, and it's a cycle of life, and we're born, we live, and we die. And I've done an end of life document where I've said to I've pleaded with some of my friends who might think this act is a sin against God, and I've said in that section that I asked them to walk a mile in my shoes and think about how God has forsaken me. If they believe in an all-powerful God, well, ask Him why He has forsaken me. What have I done that's so bad in my life that I'm now rendered like this, useless? Yeah, so...
And what are you actually planning to do? How do you plan to end your life?
I'm going to use Nebuzal, and I've got the dilanthin to make it give it more efficacy, and yeah.
So you're well prepared.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
And do you imagine that you'll lie down, you'll take the medication and you'll just lie down and in your bed? Have you sometimes thought that it'd be nice to have somebody sitting with you or holding your hand, or do you feel quite comfortable doing this alone?
No, it saddens me that I have to keep it from my friends because of the way the law is here in New South Wales and Australia about the act of euthanising. I think it bores me that the majority of politicians and Christian zealots can think about ruining, not concerning themselves about walking a mile in someone else's shoes. And the bill that Kate Fairman put up, it was sensible, it was it had protections in it, and
How did you feel when the New South Wales Parliament voted it down?
Disgusted. Absolutely, totally and profoundly disgusted. How dare they? How dare they determine, based on their religious proclivities, determine what we as citizens can do with our own lives. I'm not hurting anyone else by this. I'm just making a decision for myself, and it's a disgusting situation that no one can be with me because of the implication that they may be somehow involved. Even a friend of mine from Minnesota in America, she's been ringing me every day for the last week because she knows I want to euthanise, and she even said she'd be prepared to come out and sit with me. And I said, oh, look, I appreciate your concern and thoughts, but I don't even know whether you could be implicated under Australian law as a citizen of another country, so I don't want anyone to be implicated in any way at all. This is my decision, and I'm doing it now, so I can do it at my own hand. I don't want anyone else involved or any of my friends to be legally implicated in any way at all.
And Aina, you contacted Dying with Dignity a couple of days ago and mentioned that you were going to end your life, and you also said you'd really like the opportunity to tell your story. Why do you think it's important why is it important to you to be able to tell your story?
We need this draconian law to be changed, and if there's anything that I can do to contribute to the growing volume of calls for this change to occur, then I didn't want my death to be, or my decision to be in vain, and so no one knew about it. And I think it's important that people know what suffering others are going through. And yeah, I just think that it's important to build the knowledge about how people are forced to suffer because of this draconian situation that we're living under here in New South Wales. When I had the mental health assessment up at Maitland Hospital, a man said to me, a mental health worker said to me, oh, asking me such basic questions, and he said, what state are we in? I said, PrEP. And he said, I said, no, New South Wales, I'm not an idiot, I'm just saying PrEP because of the draconian laws around euthanasia. And he laughed and
Did you find that any of the doctors were actually sympathetic to your view?
Yeah.
So they obviously couldn't do anything about it or couldn't help you, but they weren't thinking that you were unreasonable in wanting to end your life?
No. The doctor who attended me over at Maitland, he was empathic. Even the pain specialist, he was, he said, is pain the biggest problem? I said, oh, it's a part of the suite of problems I'm now facing. And he said, if we could give you a better experience of pain, would you be prepared to live on? I said, oh, I'd think about it, depending on the extent of disability. You can't do anything about the disability, no one can. And I said, honestly, all I can say to you, Dr. Moisey, is that I'll think about it. Yeah. I haven't told my GP because I'm concerned that she might try and stop me. And I don't want people to be that concerned, and I'm not telling my best friends when I'm going to do it because I'm worried that they might try and stop me. And even though they support euthanasia in a theoretical sense, they don't seem to comprehend why I'm thinking like this. And
is it an uncomfortable topic for them to talk about?
Yes, yes.
So perhaps on one level they sort of understand, but on the other hand they feel as a friend that they should be trying to talk you out of it. You also mentioned you have a pet bird. Do you have any plans for the bird? Have you thought about what's going to happen?
Yeah. I had to think about the timing of my exit, so she was in her house rather than running around because no one would get her into her house on her perch other than me, and I had to think about that and then think about who might take her and who might be prepared to develop a bond with her like I've done, because she is a sweet little soul. And my mate said to me on one occasion, she said, "What about PC?" I said, "PC is about 6 years old. If she gets filtered water to drink, to bathe in, if she gets organic apples to eat, she gets homegrown endive to eat, she might live for 10, 12 years, goodness knows. She lays eggs, so she's not egg-bound, and goodness knows how long she'll live. If I could live for that long, I would, but I can't. And I have to think of other ways to deal with her.
So, do you think somebody will look after her?
Yeah, I've got a friend who take her, and she's seen how I interact and how PC and I interact, so she might get there eventually, yeah. I'm sad to be exiting for PC's sake, but I have to think about me first, and she'll adapt. She's a clever little bird, so she'll adapt, yeah. So, yeah.
Thank you very much for your time.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Sarah. Thank you both for coming up and talking with me and allowing me to share my experience. And
thank you.